Parents are now outraged at this New York school, this private school, by the way, this private liberal school where they're paying good money, by the way, to the school to basically get their kids indoctrinated. So this is a video that is being shown to first graders. I'll repeat that again. This video is being shown to first graders about masturbation.
Pass it, Squeaks.
Whoa, watch it. You almost hit me in the pee-pee.
What's so funny, you two?
He said pee-pee.
Do you notice that when you say pee-pee, you giggle, but when you say penis, you say it in a serious voice?
I never noticed that before.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them.
What's one for a girl's private parts?
Vajayjay!
But what does Scoops mean when he says vajayjay?
He means vulva.
That's right, Kayla. It's important to use the proper words for our private parts.
Why?
Because our private parts are just as amazing as our hearts, lungs, brains, or any other of our amazing body parts.
But our hearts pump blood, our lungs breathe, and our brains think.
All our private parts do is pee.
That's not entirely true, Scoops. It is true that a person pees or urinates through a hole called the urethra in the penis.
Does everyone have a urethra?
They do. It can be harder to see, but girls have a tiny hole in the front of the vulva where urine comes out from their urethra. Urination is actually very important. It helps us get rid of waste, stuff our body doesn't need.
Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
That's called an erection.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Sometimes, when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
You have a clitoris there, Kayla, that probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public?
They don't?
That's right, Keith. It's okay to touch yourself and see how different body parts feel, but it's best to only do it in private.
Well, if private parts are so special, why do you cover them up?
Because they are private, silly.
That's right, Kayla, because they are private.
Hey, Squeaks, pass it.
Wait. Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going to level with you on this one. I don't see how you can watch this or listen to this without being sick to your stomach. Because remember, this is going to 6-year-olds, 7 years old max. That is disgusting behavior and a disgusting video to be showing to kids at that age. That to me just makes me sick to my stomach just hearing that. It's terrible. It's so evil to do that to students like this and to kids like that. The thing is that the video and the curriculum is also teaching children that family members, including parents, grandparents, should not be able to hug or touch them, even innocently, without the children's consent. That's basically what is another section of what they're trying to do here, and push also in addition to these things. This is a part of a bigger video series as well about trying to basically make children, I don't even know, more sexually aware, but why at that age? Why at that age are they trying to do that? The thing is that schools don't have the right to even show sexually explicit material to children without parental consent anyways. So it's extremely crazy that they're just adding this in there. Now, I'm making that statement and I'm telling you that the schools don't have the ability to show sexually explicit material to students legally without the parents' consent. Here's the thing, they didn't have the parents' consent, and do you know how they got away with it? Pay attention, parents, because this is very, very, very important. They don't consider this education to be sexual explicit education, really. They don't. They have recategorized everything, especially when it comes down to LGBT stuff as well, by the way. Any of that stuff is not really considered as sex education to them. It's just kind of because they view it as being required. So oftentimes what schools have done in the past is that they will give parents an opt-out form where they can opt their kids out of hearing the sex ed stuff and whatnot like that. So, most of the parents might say, okay, well, I'm going to out my kid out. I'd rather be the one to educate them, rightfully so, on these sensitive topics, right? Well, when they do that, They will take their kid out of the normal kind of sex ed classes, but they'll leave them in, unbeknownst to the parent, by the way, the LGBTQ stuff, the masturbation classes, things like that. They'll leave them in that because they view those as being integrally important. That's how they'll typically put it. And it's straight up lying to parents because they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to trick parents into thinking that we're not teaching them about any of that stuff. Don't pay attention to that, when in reality, they actually are doing that. They really are. The thing is that when I was in school, I remember taking sex ed. I mean, I think I was in probably 5th grade. 4th or 5th grade. I'm pretty sure it was 5th grade. But now you've seen them pushing it earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier up. Now, 1st grade? Really? 1st grade? I mean, does that seem just absolutely bonkers to anybody else that they should be learning about this kind of stuff at that age? I mean, they are a long way off from even hitting puberty, and for some reason we're talking about this. The problem is that at that age, kids are extremely impressionable. Anybody that's been around a 5 or 6 year old, somewhere in that range, knows how impressionable they are with these types of things. And they're at that stage in life when if you don't say anything about something, oftentimes they just won't be aware of it. They're not going to deal with it, and things are fine. You're good to go. The problem is that at that age too, is that when you tell them something in an effort to maybe just inform them, like, hey, just letting you know, 5-year-old, don't go play over there by those vicious dogs. Well, you're now informing them of something that they can't do, which makes them want to do it. This is exactly what this is doing. It's kind of this education, or they're being wrapped up as education, when really it's just encouragement. You're just letting them know, setting them up ahead of time. Hey, go ahead and masturbate. Go ahead. Right out of 1st grade. As fast as you can. Things that you weren't even concerned about at that age. All of a sudden, they're talking about it and putting it in the minds of these kids way, way too early. Especially when you haven't even told the parents about what's actually going on. It's a big left-wing rush to overly sexualize children. This isn't the first of it that has taken place. Because we're going to continue to see this happen. Because they're telling them already, well, you can choose to be different genders and whatever you choose to be. You can change it halfway through your life. You can do it as early as you want. I mean, there's literally parents out there that I've heard that have been trying to transition their kids as early as 3 years old. It would blow your mind how these parents are doing this, how these schools are doing this. Be aware. The parents are in uproar in New York, but it's like, guys, you're paying money to a private school, by the way, for them to literally indoctrinate your children. You need to be aware of what they're teaching. Be aware of what's on that curriculum because you never know. There's schools out there, by the way, too, that are changing, allowing kids to basically transition to what the school sees, but not having to inform the parents. Very dangerous behavior. Because what they're doing now is that the teachers will call your daughter by a male name. They'll refer to her as a him. Every teacher will do it. They'll allow them to write that way. They'll affirm it. They'll allow them to use the boys' bathroom. They'll do all of that stuff. But they won't tell you. Official documents that get sent home to you don't have the new name they're calling her at school. They have her actual name that you gave her. So this whole time, you had no idea. Because the school is complicit in the behavior. And that is scary stuff. It truly is. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.